Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome along to the wilds of Suffolk. I'm out here yet again doing what I do, walking along in beautiful locations such as this, giving you my thoughts and opinions on things that are happening in the world and the public consciousness. If it's your first time here, welcome. I hope you enjoy what I'm doing today. If you're a returning subscriber, or 1,323 of you I think there are today, welcome back, welcome one and all. I hope you enjoyed today's little walk and talk. I'm out here in the fields. Beautiful and gorgeous sunny day here today. Cows are in the background, just walking through nature, getting a bit of fresh air after working the crazy hours that I work, and spitting out some lunacy like I normally do. So I hope you enjoy this one. I've titled it "The Earth is Flat," right? But believe it or not, it's got nothing to do with the flat Earth. So let's get into it and have a bit of a discussion about this subject and why I've titled it the way that I have today. So on this channel, if you've been here for any period of time, you know that I'm not scared to sort of tackle any kind of subject. I'm not afraid of speaking about things or looking stupid because, hey, I don't need help to look stupid. I can do it all by myself. I'm happy to discuss any subject, and I question everything, as we all should, because I don't think we should accept anything as the science is settled without first doing some self-examination about how we feel about the subject that we're talking about or not talking about, as the case may be. So, you know, I've tackled the whole flat Earth thing. You know, if you dare to think the world is round or the world is flat, then you're told you're delusional, even if you want to question it, you know, because things don't make a lot of sense. You know, if you question it, you're delusional, okay? If you question COVID, you're a COVID-idiot. You're delusional if you step outside the bounds of what the majority of the public think. Beautiful little spot here we are today. Thought I'd bring you somewhere a little bit different. We're going to head up into the forest, but thought I'd bring you down here through the trees. It's all starting to turn nice and green. It's beautiful sunny day. It's gorgeous out here. Gorgeous. Sunny. It's about 15, 16 degrees. T-shirt on, shorts and T-shirt. Awesome here today. That's your weather report for today, by the way. So, the reason I titled this, "The Earth is Flat," is because, you know, if like I say, if you dare to discuss that subject of flat Earth, then you're told you're delusional. Now, juxtaposition for that. So let's counter position that against some of the things that we're told is not delusional. Like, women can have penises and men can have babies. Okay? Now, recently we've had some interesting events taking place within our advertising industry of beer, namely. There's a guy, misgendering, sorry, if you've got a penis, you're a man. I don't care what anybody says, that's the reality right there. And there's a guy called Dylan Mulvaney, I think, and who's been advertising women's products to women dressed as a woman and telling everyone, oh, I've been living as a woman for a year now, oh, how special am I? And has been getting advertising contracts to advertise female products as a woman, but he's a man with a penis. Okay? But if you dare to question that narrative, if you dare to think, well, you know what? Look, I left school when I was 15. I didn't finish high school. Apparently I'm dumb as shit. But, you know, basic biology that I did do at school, you know, men have penises and women have vaginas, you know. Now, if you've transitioned to be a woman, if you've gone post-op, then, yeah, and you're living as a woman, bully for you. You know, it might be a man-made woman's parts, but, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you are then calling yourself a woman, then fantastic. If you've still got a cock, sorry, you're a man. Now, I find it questionable and kind of weird that to question that, if as a man selling women's products as a woman, if you dare to question that, that's not delusional. That's not delusional to think that a man with a penis is a woman. Okay? You can't question that. But yeah, if you dare to question anything else, then, like if the earth is flat or anything like that, you're delusional. Okay? So we live in a society now where if you've read 1984, A Brave New World, 1984, where 2 + 2 = 5. And if you dare to question that narrative, in the book, if you dare to question that narrative, then you're against the state. Now, that ties into the way that politics is being done nowadays, because it's all identity politics. Everything is political. Everything. If there's a shooting in America, it's political. It's if we'll get to the racism thing in a minute, but if there's a shooting, well, it's because the right or the left, it's usually the people on the left are pointing at the people on the right and say, well, it's all their fault because they won't ban the guns, while they're surrounded by people with guns protecting them. Can't have a border wall in the US, but we should have one in Israel. And, that apparently there's black white supremacists and brown-skinned white supremacists. But you can't question that either. Because if you do, you're a bad person. You're a racist if you dare to question the fact that a brown person is now a white supremacist. Okay. So we've got to this point now because people are much like videos that I do. I've been doing these videos now for a couple of years. The problem that we face now is that people are just so soaked in information and so tired of listening to bullshit. And maybe everything I say is bullshit. But while we're on that subject, let me tell you a little story about something that happened. It's relatable to where we're going with this today, and then we'll go off on the tangents that we normally go off on in these videos. Okay, so the other day I was at a garage sale here close to where I live, and I was looking through the stuff there, and there was a sign. There was a sign out the front that said, "Talking dog for sale, £10." And I was like, what? Talking dog? Is this one of those toys? So I said to the guy, "You're selling a talking dog?" And he goes, yeah, he's around the back, go and introduce yourself. So I was like, all right, this is a bit weird. So I went to the backyard, and there's a dog tied to the tree. And I walked over and said, "Hey, little fella, how you doing?" He goes, "Yeah, all right, how you doing?" I was like, "What?" And I thought, "You talk?" And he goes, "Oh, of course I talk." And I said, "Well, tell me how this all come about. I mean, how are you here? How do you tell me the story?" So the dog says, "Well, it started when I was a puppy, and I was working for the Ministry of Defence. I was trained as a sniffer dog to sniff out explosives, and I was the most decorated sniffer dog in the history of the MOD. I went to all over the world sniffing out IEDs, improvised explosive devices, for those of you who don't have the acronyms down yet. Sniffing out IEDs all over the world, and I was the most decorated service dog in the military in history. Then when I retired from the military, I went to work for the police, and I was trained as a sniffer dog for drugs, and I found more drugs than every other dog in the unit combined ever did. And he said, "I'm the most decorated police dog in history." He said, and then he said, "I never retired, and I came to live here." And I was like, wow, that's incredible. I'm blown away. I said, "Look, I'll catch up with you soon. I'm going to go and talk to your owner." So I went back out the front of the house, and I said to the guy, "That dog's incredible." I said, why are you selling it for £10? And he goes, "It was a lying bastard who's never left that backyard." Now, that will become relevant later. But the point is, our society right now is in the grips of trying to ascertain what is real and what is fake, and how the news, the media, the governments, science, every single aspect of our society is being governed by misinformation and disinformation, and we're being told to accept complete lies and nonsense as being truth and reality. Like men have penises, women have penises, sorry, and men can have babies. So, but if you dare to question it, you know, you're a bad person. You know, you're not delusional if you accept that women have penises. Okay, that's not delusional at all. But if you dare to question it, that is. So we have been governed by these lunatics that have infiltrated into every aspect of our social structure. So infiltration instead of invasion. I don't know if you've ever come into contact with those words in that order. Infiltration instead of invasion. So if you wanted to take over the world, you know, and you wanted to be successful in that, how do you do it without an invading force? Well, you take the culture and you flip it on its head and make people believe something that just isn't true. And if you dare to disagree with it, then you're a bad person. Because, you know, this all started out with gay marriage, okay? The gay community said, we just want to get married. And every reasonable thinking person said, well, of course, it's fine, you know? Why wouldn't we allow gay people to get married? I mean, you know, this is, you know, 2023 after all. This is a few years ago, though, of course. I think we're in 2023. We really need to get up to the times with, you know, how we govern our world. I mean, you know, marriage is traditionally between men and women, and that, you know, the church has told us we need to update how we think about things, which is, you know, wonderful, I think. But then it got into this whole, you know, you couldn't question that, of course, you know, and there's been people that had lawsuits against them for not wanting to make a cake for a gay couple, you know, because that's discriminative. Now, the issue comes down to that you're not allowed to think, and you're not allowed to question the narrative that has been presented to you. And free thought and questioning is not allowed anymore. So if you don't toe the line and believe what everybody else believes, we're told that everybody believes the same thing, that, you know, women have penises. And if you don't believe that, then you're a bad person. You're a what's the word? You're a transphobe, or you're a homophobe, or you're I can't think of the word I'm looking for. You're a bad person. You're a bad person if you dare to question the narrative. Now, the problem with that is that now anything goes. Now, if you've been on this journey with me, and you've been hearing me talk about this subject a lot for a long time, now this isn't about bashing gay people or trans people or anything like that, you know, because I've got gay friends, I've got trans friends, I mean, you know, it's not about that. The problem I have is that it's not an individual basis. I don't dislike people individually, you know, I don't dislike groups. You know, I don't dislike black people or gay people, you know, individuals who are being assholes, whether they're white, black, brown, green, I don't care, what their sexual orientation is, what they identify as, don't care. Doesn't bother me, do whatever you want with your life, but don't ask me to accept what is clearly a delusion. It's delusional, right? Now, the reason I bring up the flat earth is, let's just say that I'm in a position of power, okay? Let's just say, for instance, that I am the president or the prime minister of the country. And I say, I'm making a decree that the earth is flat, okay? You can't disagree with me. You have to agree with me, because if you don't, we'll throw you in prison. because you're a bad person. You're going against what everybody believes, and everybody has to believe this because I tell you that it's true. Now, if you're a free-thinking person, you'd be like, hold on a second. That's crazy talk, right? The earth isn't flat. It's clear. We know because science has told us, right? The math has been done. The science has settled. The earth isn't flat. The earth is round. But, it's decreed. It's by decree. By fiat decree. But, if you know about fiat and what decree. I am declaring that the earth is flat, and if you don't believe me, then you're a bad person, and I'm sorry, but you're going to have to lock you up for your own safety and the safety of all those around you, because you're clearly a danger to society if you don't believe what I'm telling you. Now, when I come out and do these talks, I don't tell you what's true. I say to you, here's what I think. Here's the question I'm asking you to consider. What do you think? Do you think that women have penises? Do you think that men can give birth? And how do you define a woman or a man, right? Which is this whole argument that's been had. Oh yes, how do you define a woman, So if we're going by those standards that it is, well, this is the standard and that everyone has to agree with it, this is where we are with this whole trans garbage that's going on, right? That I am being asked now. People who have gender dysphoria, right, which is a mental condition, it's a psychological condition, mental condition, which means you have a mental disorder that makes you believe something that isn't true. Okay, so if you want to transition to be, let's say you're a man and you want to transition to be a woman, you believe that you're a woman, and you want to transition, you have to go through a lot of meetings with psychologists and psychiatrists in order for them to allow you to be able to go ahead with the surgery. So they admit that it is a psychological condition. It is a, there's something mentally wrong in your head that makes you believe something that isn't true. Okay? But we all have to accept that delusion as being truth. Okay, so if it's the same as me saying the earth is flat. I believe the earth is flat, and because I believe it, you have to too. Right? If you don't, you're a bigot. Now the issue is, as I've said many times, that we have the LGBTQ plus community. So basically what's happened is the lesbians and gays that have been fighting for the right to marry for decades now, and for rights the same as married people would have. The other people have hijacked that movement, hence all the letters of the alphabet tacked on the end. And what does the plus stand for? Now, for those of you who have been here for any period of time, you know that the plus stands for bestiality and paedophilia. People want to fuck animals and they want to fuck children. It's rape of children and rape of animals. Okay? Now, and we have to be told, we're told that we have to be accepting, because love is love. Love is love. Between a man and a woman, between a man and a man, and a woman and a woman, and these people who are generally confused about everything. They don't know what bathroom to use. They're non-binary. 54 genders or whatever garbage we're making up nowadays. But if you don't accept that lunacy, that that non-reality, if you don't accept it, you're a bigot. So we're all being told to accept delusion as reality. Now, it's step by step, it's incremental the way that this is being implemented. Okay, first it was the gay right to marry, right? So we all saw that, we all agreed with it, of course we did. But then it's just been tacked on, and then the people that have joined this and hijacked the gay and lesbian movement are now trying to hijack it even further to steer it towards making paedophilia and bestiality lawful. And this is the UN. This is some of the biggest organisations in the world. So what we've had is these twisted, delusional, crazy people infiltrate into the biggest organisations in the world, the UN, the WHO, the WEF, all these international bank, the World Bank, all these massive organisations that control how we think, what we do, where we go, if we're allowed to transact, the social credit score system that's coming. These people have infiltrated these organisations. Now, as I've talked about many times with the whole IQ and lack of empathy, and I'm sure that if you're here and you're listening to this, you've got this far along, I'm sure you've heard of MK Ultra, where children generally, are tortured until their personality splits and they can be trained to do and think and be a certain way, and these people become social influencers through music, through movies, or through their positions in political power. Now, the other way that people are influenced in this grand delusion that we're living in is through being put in honeypots. Now, Jeffrey Epstein, that I've spoken about a lot, his madam, handler, girlfriend, whatever we're calling her, Ghislaine Maxwell, went to prison for child trafficking, and child trafficked to nobody, apparently, because no one's been arrested. In fact, her little black book is still sealed up. We're not even allowed to know the names of the people in that book that she had contact with, even though we see pictures all over the internet of her with the royals and the high society. And then it comes back to, oh yes, well, Epstein was with Trump. Oh yes, he was. And with much of the high society crowd. But then what happened when Trump found out who and what he was? Well, he banned him from all of his resorts. Oh, but Trump's a bad person. Russian collusion and all that. Well, the new Durham report's just come out proving all that was bullshit, was made up by Hillary Clinton and her campaign to smear Donald Trump because, her server that was wide open and was being accessed by multiple countries, she needed to divert attention away from that. So magically, Trump became a Russian agent. That's all been disproven now. So for years, all we heard was Russian collusion and Russia hacked the election. All bullshit. All of it. More delusion than we were asked to accept. Wholesale. And if you disagreed with it, you were a conspiracy theorist. Yeah? So every single aspect of our lives, and not just talking about crazy people like Dylan Mulvaney or other men with penises calling themselves women, we're being asked to accept delusion from delusional people and organisations, delusional organisations and social engineers that are social engineering us to believe delusions as truth. Now, when it comes time to sort of go through this kind of information and talk about it, as I do, and I'm told that I'm delusional for the way that I think, and then later on, all the things that I've been talking about, all the things that I've been saying, and the way that I view things is being proven to have more truth to it than the delusions we're being asked to accept. It doesn't matter, because the train's already left the station. If you smear something or someone, then people don't. Oh, it's just like once it's proved, it's that doesn't matter anymore. That was 5 years ago. Because recency bias kicks in. It's like, well, that doesn't mean anything. But we're being asked to accept the most delusional, crazy things as being reality and correct that are completely incorrect. So, when it comes to all the information that we're being asked to swallow, the mainstream media is making themselves look more stupid every day with the things that they're asking us to accept as reality. The media, the governments, oh yes, well, Russia's bad because they invaded Ukraine, Why did Russia invade Ukraine? I know it's been proven that Hunter Biden was funding bioweapons research facilities in Ukraine, right on Russia's border. And Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, Nancy Pelosi's son and John Kerry's son are all on the board of Ukrainian oil companies with zero experience in oil, gas and energy. But that doesn't mean anything. Now, all I'm asking for anybody that sees this, share it if you like it, of course. Share it if you don't like it. Say, look at this crazy bastard telling everyone the earth is flat. Do that. Like, I don't mind. I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm asking questions. I'm asking you to question the reality that you're being presented with. Do women have penises? You believe that? Can men have babies? Is the earth flat? Well, it seems pretty flat. There are a couple of hills here and there, but you know, I mean, look at this place. Look at it. It's gorgeous. Awesome. Now, when I told you the story about the talking dog, this is where you get to decide whether I'm that dog. Oh, forget about that. I'm going to sell him because he's never left that backyard. Am I the dog? You get to decide, because at the end of the day, I come out here to do my walks and talks because it's a way for me to talk about the things that are on my mind. You know, I work 24/7. I'm always at work, which is why I don't do too many videos. I've had friends come to visit from Australia. My time is not my own, and it's just the way that it is. And I'm pretty sure we're all in the same boat because we're all trying just to survive and get through and try and make our way through this madness that we're being presented with as being reality. Everything you see is manipulated. And I mean everything. Oh, digital assets are bad. Or you know, whatever we're being asked to accept as being reality or truthful, question it. That's all I'm saying. That's what this video is about. It's about questioning the reality that we're being presented with. Now, when I say question the reality, and I think we're living in a simulation, we've been through this 1,000 times, but I'm going to do it again, okay? The reality that you're presented with through media, social media, governments, science, you know, whatever reality we're being asked to accept is coming through a filter that they want us to accept as the reality. And that reality they're trying to ask us to accept is that 2 + 2 = 5. Just like in the books, 1984 in the movie. The problem is that most people acquiesce to whatever they're told to believe. Oh, it's just easier, you know, like, oh, it's just easier to wear a mask than to not, because I don't want to have the argument. Or it's just easier to have something stuck in me, the experimental thing that's stuck in me, because it's just safe and effective. Why wouldn't I accept that? This is the problem, that as soon as you give in, it's a very, very slippery slope. Oh, of course I agree with gay marriage. Of course I do. Of course I do. But then, once you accept that, oh, well, then you have to accept that adults should have sex with children, and children should be able to have sex with adults because they can make those decisions, just like children are wise enough to make decisions that's going to affect the rest of their life by lobbing off their genitalia. Because children know best. You know, when you say to a kid, don't touch the stove because it's hot, of course children are going to make the best decision they can because they know best. Who are adults to tell children anything? So, am I the dog, the talking dog, that's just full of shit because I've never left the backyard? It's your decision. It's your choice to make about how you feel about what I'm saying. Oh my God, I can't believe you just said that about trans people who are delusional. Well, they are. They don't accept the reality, the body that they're born with, as being their own. They don't accept that reality. But we're asked to accept that delusion and take it on as our own. And that our children are being asked to accept that reality as well. I don't accept that. I accept the people who believe that. I accept them for who they are and what they believe. I say, good bully for you. I don't accept that as being my reality. whatever. Don't try and make your delusion part of my life. What do you think? It's up to you to think and decide for yourself, and then respond to the people that are asking you to accept this reality as your own, and say no. I will not have you legalize this nonsense, this non-reality, this delusion. Just the same as I wouldn't accept that you have to make me accept that the earth is flat, and I have to accept that delusion. What's the difference? I'm asking you, what's the difference between accepting one delusion, that the earth is flat, or accepting that that women have penises and men can have babies? It's up to you. It's up to us all. So, on that note, go out into the world, do good, and be good. And you can change the world with the way that you think, the way that you talk, the way that you interact with the world. So go out and do that. And while you're out there, make sure that you're spreading the love and talking with people about things that maybe they don't want to talk about, because this is how we get through to people. Share information that you think is going to challenge their thinking, because if we just all go, oh, well, that's just how it is, and we just have to accept it because the government knows best, or the science is settled, acceptance of lunacy will only bring us more lunacy. So, look after yourself, look after each other, and I can't wait to see you again. I do apologise for the break between the videos, but it is what it is. So just accept that delusion for all it is. And yeah, look after yourself, look after each other, and I look forward to seeing you real soon. Love you all. Ciao for now.